That's a great question. I feel like a lot of people hit a wall at the end of the year, really due to there's so many different things. But one I think of is like there's an accumulated mental and emotional fatigue that builds up over the year. You have a whole year of work, you've got responsibilities, family, decision making. And really, a lot of people don't take rest until like the end of the year or like the holidays. They don't take like a true rest. And so it's kind of like, it's like a battery, like you've used up so much of it throughout the year. And now the end is kind of like the finish line. There's also other like seasonal and biological effects. I know people have talked about seasonal affective disorder before, but also there's less sunlight. Less sunlight leads to lower serotonin and vitamin D, and that causes more fatigue and a lower mood for people. And then really there can be emotional weight holidays too. So when we're talking about planning holidays, there can be feelings of grief or loneliness, maybe family conflict around the holidays. Sometimes there's social comparison, like why does everybody else seem so happy and I don't? And it can just be a reminder of certain things that are difficult for people to deal with. So I think kind of encompassing all of that together is just like there's this big race in the whole year and the end is like the end of it. And you're trying to finish projects and get things done and plan for holidays and family and presence and financial stress that comes along with holidays as well. And all of that kind of culminates at this one time of year and can just be overwhelming for a lot of people. Yeah, there's all different kinds of signs. I would say physical signs that you could see would be things like fatigue, like serious fatigue, insomnia, headaches, GI issues. There's also some emotional symptoms that people get, irritability, most definitely sadness, maybe even some numbness, or you could have like reduced empathy for things, like a short fuse. Behavior could be isolation, decreased work performance, and also just cognitively, like having a really hard time concentrating on things that you need to concentrate on, and also having like a negative thinking pattern. Those would all be, I would say, signs of burnout or compassion fatigue. People think that rest equals like scrolling on your phone or zoning out or like distracting yourself. And that's not really putting your body into like a rest and recovery position as much as we love it and whatever. And also it's not a one size fits all. What works for some people doesn't work for others. And it kind of depends on like where you're depleted, like physically depleted, like that needs a different type of recovery than mental and emotional. So really being attuned to like what's going on with your body and how you're feeling, that need for rest or need for recovery, and then doing things that fit that fit those needs. Yeah. And I mean, I think that's the problem is that life doesn't slow down. Like we always think, oh, it's this season, but then it's the next season and the next season. And so it's more about like not really life, not slowing down, but like building in kind of like micro breaks for yourself that can give you some recharge and rest. I mean, I think people think of rest as like, oh, hours or days or whatever. And really, if you can build in like minutes throughout your day to like recharge, they're called like micro regulations or micro breaks. Like those can be really beneficial. Like small things people talk about, like breathing work, like just make sure you're inhaling and then exhaling longer than you inhale. So like an in for 4 and an out for 6. Washing your hands in warm water, making your hands warm. It like signals to your nervous system. It signals like safety. Any kind of like meditation, all of those things, like kind of, or replacing breaks with like switch ups. So like instead of, oh, I'm going to sit here for whatever, I'm just going to change what I'm doing. So like if I'm mentally tired, I may do something physical for 2 or 5 minutes. Or if I'm physically tired, then I may do something that's just sitting still and in the quiet. So it's something that kind of like offsets what you're already like feeling. So those can be little practical things, and little things consistently makes a bigger difference than one big thing. I think boundaries plays the biggest role. For me, and I think a lot of times there's a misconception about boundaries. Like people think boundaries is what keeps things out, But really, the most important thing about boundaries is it protects what's within. So that like changing your mindset kind of about it. You want to protect the energy that you have left, right? So like putting up these boundaries, those are things that help you filter out what matters, what doesn't, what you actually have the capacity to deal with. And so they're really important to put into place. It can stop a people pleasing burnout. That a lot of us, I like to call myself a recovering people pleaser. And so it's a struggle. And so if you put those boundaries up, it can, within family obligations, work pressures, holiday shoulds, a lot of those that can protect your peace. And then that in doing so, that protects your recovery time too, and giving you the rest and recovery that you need to replenish yourself and not burned out at the end of the year.